Good morning. Do you hear me? Yes. Many thanks for coming to this conference. Many thanks to Mr. Bosco at Doming Company for arranging it and giving us the possibility to introduce our company, Tecnoclima. We started with the video. Probably you had a first idea of Tecnoclima, and now we continue with the presentation. The big. Thank you. So I will spend some word to tell you about the history of the company, about the technology of our products, the sectors where, the business sector where Tecnoclima is present, and finally I will introduce you our product range. And we focus also the presentation on the application of the product. The product offers a wide possibility of applications in different sectors. Sorry. So, and we basically produce suspended warm air heaters. We produce cabinet warm air heaters, water air heaters, heating appliances for agriculture and for poultry sector, heaters for process heat, and rooftop units. The company was founded in 1973 in Italy by Mr. Vescovi. He is still the president of the company, but now the company is managed by the daughter, which is our CEO, and by the son, who is managing the office in Moscow. And from the beginning, the values for Tecnoclima were those mainly four values were important for Tecnoclima. International opening, it means since the beginning, Tecnoclima exported most of its production abroad. Currently, we export 80% all over the world in 5 continents. We have a subsidiary in France and a special brand dedicated to this market, and we have an office in Moscow to distribute the products in Russia and in the all, let's say, countries of the ex-Soviet Union. Attention to the market. We have a catalog of standard products, but we listen to the request and needs of the market and are available to customize the products according to special needs or different needs in different countries or from different customers. Of course, all this is possible if there is a strong imprint of research and development. And so everything is designed, tested and manufactured in our company in Italy, and we pay the highest attention to innovation and use of last technologies in our sector. And of course, we are quite proud to be an Italian company, to have strong roots in our territory. Everything is produced in our plant in the north of Italy, let's say near to Verona. And we produce a 100% made in Italy product. Sorry. So in this slide, you can see some important step from the foundation of the company in 1973. 1980, we exported units as first company in our area in USA. So we made first certification, UL certification. In the 90s years, we purchased companies. In 1977, we introduced also the cooling technology next to the heating technology to our products. So we started with heating, but in order to have a complete range, also cooling appliances were introduced. 2008 is very important because came new regulation for high efficiency in Italy and in Europe. So we started producing condensing units. 2011, we opened the office in Moscow. 2019, we made a very important supply to oil and gas and oil companies in Russia, Rosneft and Gazprom, with mobile containers to heat platform rigs in these very hard climate conditions. And the new frontiers, of course, is the decarbonization. So Tecnoclima is still producing units burning gas and oil, but we also have a range of rooftop, so air-to-air air conditioners that use electricity to produce heat and cooling. The concept of our system is so-called dry system. We produce warm air directly, burning gas or burning oil inside a heat exchanger. We have a fan to blow the air on the surface of the heat exchanger. The air is heated directly without any intermediate fluid, without hot water, and it is directly blown into the ambient to be heated. Similar technology we introduced also for cooling appliances. Still without water, we use direct expansion system for cooling. In packaged units, like rooftop units. Which are the main strengths of this system? It has a very low thermal inertia. It means the heating is very fast and is ideal for intermittent use or occasional operation. You heat only when the heat is needed, and then you stop. So it's fast in heating and is switched off also faster without losses of heat that can remain in piping. We have condensing appliances that can reach efficiency up to 108%. The fact that we don't use intermediate fluids, water or steam, cold water, hot water, allow us to avoid dedicated technical rooms for boiler or for, let's say, chillers. And we don't have problems, especially in cold countries, for frost. The air temperature is controlled, so we can limit also the stratification of the air. And having a fan system, we can have also, the unit can work in recirculation mode, but they can work also in ventilation mode up to 100% of fresh air. They are packaged units, so tested and totally assembled for the factory. You basically need only to place them in the room, bring the energy source, the gas or the oil. You can diffuse the air directly, so without any additional installation work, or just install a duct system to diffuse the hot air. So it's very low cost of installation and very low operational cost. Here you can see how the system works, the fan, the heat exchanger, and the heat exchange between the combustion chamber and the pipes and the diffusion of the hot air directly in the room or over a duct system. Our products can be used in most traditional HVAC sector, so but in general for any large space, so industrial halls, warehouses, tents, sports centers, let's say, for the comfort of the people, but they can be used also for the agriculture, to heat greenhouses, for livestock, heating poultry houses in particular, and they can be used also for process heat. When you need, for technological purposes, when you need hot air at high temperature for technological process, painting, drying, curing, defrosting, food processing, etc. We have a catalog that if you come later to the stand of Toming, you will have also leaflets and you can have the opportunity to talk with me and Giada if you have specific questions. Okay, I go fast through the product, to the products line. We have basically suspended, first family range is suspended heaters, so unit heaters, small heaters, capacity from, let's say, 10 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt, room sealed with premixed gas burner, condensing operation or non-condensing operation, modulating burner. For direct air diffusion, PMX is for direct air diffusion. In the back of the heater, there's a fan, an axial fan, to blow the air through the heater. The air is heated and diffused. CMX is a same platform, but with centrifugal fan and possibility to connect to a duct system, and also to be installed outside. SMX is a gas module that we offer to manufacturer of air handling units as a heating section to be placed inside their unit. MX is a non-condensing unit, similar family, but non-condensing with smaller capacity, up to 40 kilowatt. And Air Blue is a special dedicated unit for sealing installation. We already saw the main data, so I don't repeat them. Of course, the units are ERP compliant 2021, at least up to SMX. MX being non-condensing is not, was ERP 2018 compliant and no more 2021. And here you can see some examples of applications. So any large space to be heated in a simple and economical way with gas, unit heaters installed in a laundry, also in larger and higher warehouses or industrial halls, you can install the heaters on the wall. The chimney goes directly through the wall, and you just work in recirculation mode. Or you can install the units outside at the wall. In this case, you can see the duct for recirculating the air from inside, and the unit is blowing directly the air in the room, either directly or with a ducting system. This is another possible application in a simple workshop. As you can see, this building is not well insulated, so this is the very good situation for our products, because you just heat when people are there, then you stop the shift and you stop eating, and then you start again. So it's a very, very fast installation, very economic installation, and very efficient heating, because it is transferred directly to the room to be heated. Another situation here with more heaters, similar. Or they can be used also to heat terraces, or let's say small restaurants that are open in summertime and are closed in the wintertime with kind of tents. I show you quickly some. This is a gym. You see the unit on the wall there. It's a small gym Or in tennis courts, if you have a frame-supported structure like this, just a couple of heaters, 60, 80 kilowatt each, you make 150 kilowatt for a tennis court is enough normally. Another situation with the polyvalent sport structure. Another here, we also supply the stratification fans to push the hot air down. You can see in the center of this tent and the unit in the edge. Okay, to get further to gas unit heaters, we produce also water air heaters, so with a heating coil with hot water supply or chilled water supply. This is to complete the range. We have two series with traditional fan or with EC fan. EC fan is more silent, more, let's say, less consumption, and can be regulated very easily with a 0-10 volt signal. Here we don't have picture of installation. Another possible, so another important range of Tecnoclima is cabinet heaters. So big heaters, power arrives up to 1,000 or even 2,000 kilowatt for, let's say, a kind of more central heating. For larger buildings, or also for ventilation of larger buildings. When you have a lot of extract air, you need to compensate the air that is extracted for technological purposes. You can use those heaters. They can be installed inside, but they can be installed also outside without any additional protection. We have vertical version like you see in this picture, but we have also horizontal version that can be installed on roofs, similar to rooftop units, but for heating only, let's say. They are all supplied either with gas or with oil burners. And in this slide, they are shown in order of decreasing efficiency. d.o.o. is the most efficient unit we have, is a full condensing unit. It arrives to 100% of efficiency. TC Eco is also very efficient, also about 103%. Energy is the wider range that we have and contains a lot of units, indoor, outdoor, vertical, horizontal. S-Air can be also interesting if you have already a fan system. This is the heating section only. If you have already, you can use it as a battery, a coil, to heat up the air. You can place it in a duct system. And BA is, let's say, a unit that is plug and play because it is equipped with an oil tank inside and an oil burner. And so you just need to bring electricity and start the heater, and it produces warm air. Okay, I don't repeat the data, but just for your information, air capacity goes from 3,000 to 70,000, but we can reach even more, 100 and more thousand. And here are some examples of application. You can see here an industrial building. The heater is installed outside. And on the left side of the slide, you see the air distribution system with those perforated, micro-perforated metallic ducts. In this case, another similar situation with a heater for outside and a very simple distribution with a T duct and some outlets to diffuse the air. This is a picture taken from a factory in Russia for trains. It's a huge factory with huge units, each of 1,000 kilowatt of power. They make a recirculation of air, but they take also air from outside. You can see in the bottom a protection for the air, for the fresh air inlet. You can have a mixture of recirculated air or fresh air. This is a kind of rooftop unit. It's installed in a factory of Whirlpool in our area. It produces warm air, it makes ventilation, air filtration, and we added a cooling coil that is supplied with chilled water coming from a chiller. So we make a complete air treatment. It's possible also to customize in this way the units, adding a coil to make also cooling, for example. Another industrial plant, in this case, the unit is also equipped with a return air fan with a 3-damper chamber to manage the airflow, have a free cooling possibility or free heating. And in this case, we added a 8 rows cooling coil with chilled water coming from the ground. So it's possible also to have this kind of on request, let's say. On request, we make those kind of customization. Other heaters for outside installation with a duct system to make to mix recirculated air and fresh air. Another very important application of our heaters is to heat, let's say, a place of worship, churches. We are really specialized in this. Churches are particular environments because they are very high. It's very difficult to heat them. They are used maybe once a week or twice a week, so you need to heat them only when people come. Then they don't need heat. You need to heat them fast, but you need also to avoid the air to go up. So we developed for this application special regulation in order to keep the air temperature controlled, the supply air temperature controlled, and avoid the stratification of the air. We developed a special regulation with a variable airflow using a frequency converter in order to, let's say, make a fast startup of the heater before the celebration, and then reduce the airflow, reduce the fan speed in order to have a more silent operation during the celebration. And as we give also suggestion about air distribution in order to avoid impact, let's say, on the church, because often is there art and heritage to be preserved. Here you can see some of churches that were heated by Tecnoclima in Hungary, in France, the Cathedral of Krakow. Our owner met personally the Bishop Wojtyla before becoming Papst, and they made the heating system of the cathedral in Krakow, and many others. In Italy, of course, we made more than 2,000 churches. This is another example in the south of Italy. This is a church of the a Roman church close to Rome, heated with our warmer heaters. Another church, very often, the space for the heater is very narrow. Also, the doors are very small, so we can also supply the heater in parts. We supply our technicians to assemble the heater directly inside the technical room. Also in this case, you can see an horizontal heater, and it had to be installed pass through this little door. Okay, another possible application, still talking about large spaces, is sport halls. Sport halls can be either frame supported or air supported. In case of air supported halls, we need, let's say, a lot of fresh air to, let's say, blow up the air dome, and we need a system of dampers in order to control the pressure inside the air dome, and a damper to avoid the air to get out of the structure in case of missing electricity, lockout of electricity. Okay, I don't spend words. We have different products to fulfill this task, but I prefer to show you some picture. This is a big air dome for 3 tennis courts in Austria. We supply also the emergency unit, which has an engine, a diesel engine, in case of electricity lockdown. In this case, we used rooftop units for heating and cooling this structure in France. In this case, we have an external warm air heater and a frame-supported structure, or a traditional building with a simple heater of 120 kilowatt and air distribution inside. The heater is installed directly outside doesn't need any additional protection. And here also we have 4 heaters of 200 kilowatt with a very simple air diffusion, just a grid, an outlet, and a return air grid in order to recirculate the air. So very simple installation, very cheap, but very effective. Okay, here is a bowls club with a duct system for air distribution. And okay, last, regarding cabinet heaters, industrial processes. Production of warm air. Here we can have warm air up to 200, 300 degrees. Clean warm air, in this case, is a ceramic industry, and the heaters are used for drying. Or they can be used for painting cabins. Painting cabins for drying at any temperature, low temperature up to high temperature. This is for a marble treatment, so drying of marble plates. Again, marble treatment. In this case, you see only the heating section because the manufacturer already has his fan in his installation, and he provides the airflow. This is a oven to produce fiber cement panels, and also in this case there are 4 units of Tecnoclima for the process, let's say. Or process in agricultural field. In this case, we have a special unit. We call it downflow because the air is blown from the top to the down. We have 2 outlets, round outlets. They bring the container, inside the container, cereals, just coming from the field, and they dry the cereals directly after the collection. Or in this case, for example, we made a unit completely in stainless steel for food processing, for production of powder milk. Heating of mining, another possible solution. We said we have an office in Russia. Here, a huge plant in Yakutia to ventilate tunnels of the biggest diamond mine in the world, with an airflow of 5 million of cubic meters per hour, with a huge installed power. And this is what I mentioned at the beginning, the mobile container for oil rigs or gas rigs that, in case of oil, we developed together with Yellow a special burner to burn directly the crude oil coming from the ground. So a big research and investment in the project. Another application in technological process for plastic recycling, just fish meal production. Here we are talking about 200 degrees of temperature, and we are talking taken from outside, from -20. So we heat the air from -20 to 200 degrees. We can have also an important pressure if requested from the process. And now I pass the word to my colleague Giada Simon to talk about agriculture.
Hello to everyone. So now we move a little bit to agriculture and poultry. That is also...
Sorry, you have only 10 minutes more.
Okay, yes, no problem.
Thank you.
And so we start. And yes, you can see our main products for the agriculture. We start with agri, and we have this suspended warm air heater. Is an indirect combustion, so we have clean air. And yes, we have an axial fan, and the diffusion is a direct diffusion. We have the suspended heater, and also we have the portable one, so with wheels. We have also a cabinet, so downflow fluxes, so we have the air going through the ducts and the sleeves from the down to the upper part. Okay, so after we have the TC, that is also our model for agriculture, and these models are ducted, and they have a higher power up to 600 kilowatts. These are the main data for all these main ranges, and we can see a couple of different products that can be also used for agriculture. In this case, we don't have fuel like before. Okay, I forgot to tell you that we can use both gas or diesel. In the case that we have hot water, we can use our AZN that also my colleague presented you before. And we have super cheeky. In this case, we have a direct fired, so we have a CO2 production, and is also a direct airflow. And we have also a DAE that is our circulation fan, and this fan is used to move the air and to give a more uniform temperature distribution, and also, yes, to extend the air throw to cover a higher distance. These are the main data for these products. And now we can see a couple of applications. In this case, we have the agri, the wheeled one, and you have the air coming from the downside. This is a nursery for a greenhouse. There are other applications. This is a very big project in Egypt that we made in collaboration with the Egyptian army. And you can see our agri downflow. The air is coming from the down, and the air is going directly to the roots of the plants. We had 10 machines per greenhouse, and we had 500 greenhouses, so in total 5,000 of machines. Okay, here another typical installation of our agri, and usually we use also the DAE to increase the airflow and to give a more uniform air distribution. If you have hot water, you can use our AZN, and here you can see our flower greenhouse, and this is a typical installation. This is a very special use of agri. In this case, we have a ducted one. We have an additional fan to give a higher pressure to the nut that has to be dried inside directly after the collection. So we have a drying system for nuts, and The agri is installed outside in this case, and yes, we can go forward. Yes, this is a TC downflow, is a ducted machine, and also in this case of hydroponic greenhouse, we have the airflow directly from the dome, and it's the air is going directly to the plants and the roots of the plants. So it's a very typical and specific installation. Here it's more detailed pictures of the same installation. After we have the livestock, and yes, a little bit about poultry. We have different type of machine. We have EcoChicky, that is an indirect hair diffusion. So we have clean hair without CO2 in the ambient where the animals are. Super Cheeky is a direct fire gas warmer heater, so we have a CO2 inside the farm. Aqua Cheeky is made like you can use water instead of gas or oil, and Aqua Piggy is another water heater, water hair heater, and in this case we have the inoxidable material in order to resist to the corrosion, and is typical for swine poultry. And after we propose our dye, that is our recirculation fan for the same characteristic of agriculture, and we can have a better and uniform air distribution. Here are a couple of applications. The outdoor installation for this is good because you can save space. You don't have the heater inside, so you can avoid you can avoid the fire inside. You have less problem, and also you can take directly the fresh air from outside, and it's not dirty. This is an installation, the typical installation. You can see all the machine outside of the farms. Here is another installation of our Super Cheeky. If you have gas, you can use this, and this direct fire. This is a typical installation of Aqua Cheeky. You can use hot water. In here you can see our Aqua Piggy. This is inox, as I told you before, so very good for very corrosive environments. And here other couple of installation of our Super Cheeky. Here you can see the same, also the inside. This is a typical installation also of Agri, and here you can see the additional accessories, that is the snorkel, with which you can take directly the air from outside, and you can give fresh and clean air if you want to avoid dust or other pollutant that can be in the environment. I can give you another time, like if we have time, the word to my colleague, because we have a couple of slides. If we have time, I don't know.
Please try to finish.
Yeah, sorry.
Try to finish in a few minutes because we don't have time.
Okay. We also, I said, produce rooftop units, basically packaged units for heating and cooling. We have the CF Extreme range that consists of 5 sizes and 8 models, an airflow going from 3,500 to 26,000 cubic meters per hour, cooling capacity up to 170 kilowatt, heating capacity in heat pump mode also, the same, 172. And of course, being manufacturer of warm air heaters, we can have the additional heat exchanger, gas heat exchanger with capacity up to 204 kilowatt. We have then another range that we are, let's say, developing together with the university. There are already about 40 rooftop installed in the market. So we are making field tests and it will be, let's say, available for the market from second half of 2022. Is a wider range, more actual range, if you want, with airflow up to 60,000 cubic meters per hour, and cooling capacity more than 300 kilowatt. CF Extreme is our most traditional unit. It is ERP 2021 compliant. It uses refrigerant R410A. COP goes to about 3.8, ER 3.2. We use tandem compressor with different capacity, so we can reach up to 6 level of regulation of capacity stages. In those type of, in this series, we use centrifugal belt-driven fans. The heat pump is dimensioned to work with outside temperature up to -7. So it means that if the temperature goes lower, you need an additional heating system, which can be either our gas heat exchanger or an electric heater or a hot water supplied coil. This type of unit is most suitable, let's say, for operation in recirculation mode or with a little amount of fresh air. We do have also, let's say, mixing chamber, air return fan, heat recovery module, but they are additional, so they are not components to be installed inside, let's say, the unit. And let's say the most recommended solution is the solution cooling only plus gas heat exchanger. This is the system we sell more, and mainly for operation with a little amount of fresh air without recirculation. CF, the new range is, let's say, more modern, of course, ERP 2021 compliant, same refrigerant. We have higher COP and ER. We arrive to 4.2 with COP and 3.8. Still tandem compressor, but in this case we use direct-driven EC plug fans, so we can have also a variable airflow. We can have a less airflow in case of operation with a high percentage of fresh air, or we can adapt the airflow according to the needs, or increase the fan speed according to the dirtiness of the filter. The heat pump is dimensioned to -15. Of course, we also have integration with gas, electricity, or hot water. We can work up to 100% of fresh air. We have thermodynamic heat recovery or additional cross-flow heat exchanger, and we have various possibilities of configurations with different high degrees filters, humidification, and so on. This range, as I told you, is in field test and will be ready second half of 2022.
Thank you. We must finish now, okay, because most interesting for us is a combination for cooling and heating with gas. That's for these people in the room. It is most interesting, and that's something new on our market. You lose the time with explaining your products range, and thank you for everything, and thank you for your presentation. But we must finish your presentation.
Many thanks to everybody for participating and giving Tecnoclima this opportunity. Many thanks to Bosco and Doming again.
Thank you.